All right, let's talk about a legend. Not just any legend, but one carved from ice, grit, and an almost unbelievable level of pain. Today we're diving deep into the tumultuous, triumphant, and ultimately tragic life of Terry Sawchuk, a man widely considered the greatest goaltender in NHL history. This isn't just a hockey story. It's a raw, unfiltered look at a human being pushed to the absolute limits, both physically and mentally. Get ready, because what you're about to hear will redefine what you think you know about sports heroes. Terrence Gordon Sawchuk was born on December 28, 1929, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. His early life in the working-class East Kildonan district was a stark precursor to the relentless battles he'd face on the ice. He was the third of four boys, alongside an adopted sister, in a family with deep Eastern European roots. His father, Louis Sawchuk, was a tinsmith who had immigrated from Galicia, a region then part of Austria-Hungary and now Ukraine. His mother, Anne Maslak, was a homemaker, holding the family together. It was this Ukrainian ancestry that earned Terry the enduring, albeit sometimes insensitive nickname, Yuki, or the UK, from his teammates throughout his career. It was a simple shorthand way of identifying him, yet it spoke to a deeper part of his identity. His journey into hockey, the sport that would utterly define his existence, began almost by pure chance. He inherited a well-worn set of goaltending gear from a friend, and the moment he strapped on the pads, something clicked. Terry quickly found his true calling between the pipes, displaying an innate, almost supernatural talent that was impossible to ignore. He possessed an uncanny ability to read the play, a lightning-fast glove hand, and an unwavering focus that belied his young age. By the tender age of 14, his raw potential and burgeoning skill had already caught the discerning eye of a scout from the legendary Detroit Red Wings. The invitation to train with the big club came swiftly, and soon after, he signed an amateur contract with the formidable Red Wings organization. This significant milestone marked his departure from his humble hometown, as he was sent to play for their junior team in Galt, Ontario, in 1946. It was here, away from the familiar comforts of home, that the rough edges of his game would be honed and his relentless work ethic truly forged. But even as a kid, the seeds of future struggles, both physical and psychological, were sown. When he was just 12, a seemingly innocuous football injury to his right elbow became a lifelong source of debilitating torment. Terry, in a characteristic display of precocious toughness, or perhaps sheer youthful naivete, hid the injury from his parents, fearing repercussions or being pulled from the sports he loved. As a tragic consequence, the elbow never healed properly. This unfortunate oversight left his right arm permanently shorter by several inches compared to his left, and severely restricted its range of motion. It wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a constant nagging source of discomfort and pain that would subtly but powerfully haunt him throughout his entire professional career. A silent, persistent adversary that only he truly understood, yet one that he never allowed to deter him from his singular goal. Away from the ice, in those formative years before hockey consumed his every waking moment, Terry was a remarkable multi-talented athlete. Hockey wasn't his only domain of excellence. He shone brightly on the baseball diamond too. He proved exceptionally adept at both infield and outfield positions, showcasing a versatility that hinted at his overall athletic prowess. In 1948, he even managed to clinch the batting title in the Manitoba Senior AA League, a testament to his hand-eye coordination and competitive fire that extended beyond the rink. This early display of fierce competitiveness and natural athleticism, transcending any single sport, was a vivid glimpse into the unyielding drive that would soon define the man who would dominate the toughest professional hockey league in the world. Terry Sawchuk's NHL career spanned an incredible 21 seasons, a testament not only to his enduring talent, but also to his unparalleled resilience and sheer, unadulterated will. Over 2 decades, he graced the ice for 5 different teams: the Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Los Angeles Kings, and New York Rangers. But his most iconic and defining years, undoubtedly, were spent donning the winged wheel for the Detroit Red Wings, where he became an instant legend. He signed his first professional contract with the Red Wings in 1947, a pivotal moment that set the stage for his meteoric ascent through the ranks. Terry quickly distinguished himself, earning the prestigious Rookie of the Year honors in both the United States Hockey League, USHL, and the American Hockey League, AHL. These early accolades were clear, unequivocal signals of his readiness for the big league, proclaiming him a burgeoning powerhouse, a goaltending prodigy in the making. The opportunity for his grand entrance arrived in January 1950, when he was summoned to replace the injured starting goaltender, Harry Lumley. Sawchuk's performances were so sensational, so filled with raw potential and undeniable skill, that the Red Wings made a bold and swift move. They traded Lumley away, cementing Sawchuk as their undeniable permanent franchise goalie. It was a high-stakes gamble, a clear declaration of faith in a young netminder, and it paid off in spades, laying the groundwork for a dynasty. And deliver, he absolutely did. The early to mid-1950s became synonymous with Sawchuk and the Red Wings' electrifying dynasty. Between 1952 and 1955, Sawchuk backstopped the Red Wings to an astounding 3 Stanley Cups. He wasn't just good, he was utterly dominant, a seemingly impenetrable brick wall in pads, a force of nature in the net. During this golden era, he clinched the coveted Vezina Trophy, awarded to the best goaltender, an impressive 3 times. In 1952, 1953, and 1955. Additionally, he earned the Calder Memorial Trophy as the league's top rookie in 1951, a rare and impressive feat for a goaltender, showcasing his immediate impact. His consistent excellence and overwhelming presence were recognized league-wide, as he was selected to the NHL All-Star Team 5 times in his first 5 seasons. A truly remarkable, unprecedented start to what would become a legendary career. The 1951-52 season was particularly legendary, a season that etched Sawchuk's name even deeper into hockey lore, transforming him from a star into an icon. The Red Wings, fueled by his stellar, almost superhuman goaltending, swept both the powerhouse Toronto Maple Leafs and the formidable Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs, a display of absolute, undeniable dominance. In those 8 playoff games, Sawchuk allowed a minuscule 5 goals, boasting an almost unbelievable goals against average of 0.625, a number that still baffles statisticians today. He also recorded an astonishing 4 shutouts in that short span, completely shutting down 2 of the league's most potent offenses. It was during the final game of that historic sweep in Detroit that the now famous Legend of the Octopus began, with the first 8-legged cephalopod hitting the ice as a symbolic blessing and celebration of the team's relentless march to victory. Terry Sawchuk, with his impenetrable net-minding, his intense focus, and his unyielding will, was undoubtedly the undisputed linchpin of that relentless charge, the foundation upon which their glory was built. But beneath the surface of all that glory, all those triumphs, a darker, more insidious reality was brewing, a grim undercurrent that few outside his immediate circle truly understood or acknowledged. Before the 1951-52 season, Sawchuk was abruptly told by team management to lose weight, a common demand in professional sports. While he diligently complied, something profound and troubling shifted within him. He became noticeably more sullen, more withdrawn, a shadow of his former self, and struggled significantly to regain the weight he'd lost, suggesting a deeper psychological impact. This marked the insidious beginning of a period of deep internal struggle, a stark, painful contrast to his on-ice heroics. The burden of expectation, coupled with his innate personality, began to weigh heavily on him. Throughout his incredibly long and arduous career, Sawchuk played through what can only be described as unimaginable, excruciating pain. His body became a living, breathing testament to the sheer brutality of professional hockey in an era before advanced protective gear, sophisticated sports medicine, and a full understanding of athletic trauma. He endured 3 right elbow surgeries, a direct and painful consequence of that childhood injury, which undoubtedly exacerbated his chronic discomfort and limited his natural range of motion. He battled crippling bouts of appendicitis, countless deep cuts and bruises that permanently scarred his skin, a broken foot that made pushing off the ice agony, a collapsed lung that severely hampered his breathing, a ruptured spinal disc that sent shooting pains down his back, and even severed hand tendons, a terrifying injury for a goaltender who relied so heavily on his hands. Think about that for a second. A goaltender whose very livelihood and success depended on the dexterity and strength of his hands, playing with severed tendons. The sheer toughness, the almost masochistic dedication required to perform at that elite level under such conditions is almost incomprehensible. His face, a rugged roadmap of his countless battles, accumulated an estimated 400 stitches, a horrifying testament to the unprotected nature of his position. This included a terrifying 3 stitches to his right eyeball, a stark reminder of how close he came to losing his sight, before he finally, and very reluctantly, donned a protective mask in 1962. Prior to the mask's adoption, his face was a constant vulnerable target, a canvas for the puck's relentless high-speed impact. The visual evidence of his grotesque injuries was so striking, so visceral, that in 1966, Life magazine commissioned a makeup artist to painstakingly try and recreate all the scars and stitches his face had endured over the years. The astonishing, almost unbelievable truth, they literally ran out of room on his face to depict them all, a chilling illustration of the punishment he absorbed game after game. And the physical toll didn't stop there. His signature crouched goaltending stance, a hallmark of his athleticism, quickness, and unique style, and a key to his unparalleled success, tragically led to a debilitating condition known as permanent lordosis, a severe inward curvature of the lower spine. This chronic, painful condition made it impossible for him to sleep for more than 2 hours at a time, forcing him to find solace in short, fitful naps, if any rest at all. The constant grinding pain from his body, combined with the profound lack of restorative sleep, surely amplified the mental anguish, slowly but relentlessly eroding his spirit and contributing to his notoriously volatile temperament. In June 1955, after leading the Red Wings to yet another glorious Stanley Cup championship, a devastating and emotionally crushing blow struck Sawchuk, one that would deeply affect him for years. The very team that he had given so much to, the organization that had become his identity, that he had sacrificed his body and soul for, abruptly traded him to the Boston Bruins. This sudden, unexpected move utterly crushed his spirit, leaving him feeling betrayed and discarded. It was a stark, brutal reminder of the cold, unfeeling business side of professional sports, a callous exchange after years of unwavering dedication and unparalleled success. He had poured his heart and soul into Detroit, achieving legendary status, and the trade felt like a profound personal betrayal, a cruel recompense for his loyalty. His struggles, both on and off the ice, undeniably continued in Boston, where the immense emotional weight of the trade and the relentless physical toll of his career finally caught up with him. In his second season with the Bruins, he received a debilitating diagnosis of mononucleosis, an illness that further sapped his already depleted strength and energy. Physically frail, constantly in pain, and teetering precariously on the very edge of a nervous breakdown, a direct result of years of immense stress, chronic pain, and profound personal struggles, Sawchuk made the agonizing decision to announce his early retirement from the game in 1957. The abruptness of his departure, without a full public understanding of his internal battles, led some within the hockey world to unfairly label him a quitter, a deeply unjust and uninformed judgment from those unaware of the silent, titanic battles he was fighting within himself. They saw a man walking away, not a man pushed to his absolute breaking point, his spirit fractured by the relentless demands of the game and his own personal demons. But Terry Sawchuk, despite all the pain, the whispers, and the immense psychological burden, was not a quitter at heart. 4 years later, in 1961, in a testament to his indomitable spirit and his unbreakable bond with the game, he made a remarkable comeback, returning to the Detroit Red Wings. His second stint in Detroit lasted until 1964, a period marked by both moments of brilliance and flashes of his increasingly dark moods. Then, the team made another fateful decision, one that would once again prove costly for Detroit, leaving him unprotected in the NHL intra-league draft. It was a strategic misstep that the Toronto Maple Leafs, recognizing the enduring talent and unmatched experience of the veteran netminder, swiftly capitalized upon, snatching him up immediately. This unexpected move to Toronto breathed new life into Sawchuk's storied career and forged one of hockey's most unlikely but incredibly effective goaltending duos. Paired with the then 40-year-old Johnny Bower, another seasoned veteran whose own career seemed perpetually defying time, this tandem proved to be sheer magic. Their combined wealth of experience, their uncanny skill, and their unflappable demeanor under pressure made them an absolutely formidable force, complementing each other perfectly. Together, in a remarkable display of shared excellence, they jointly shared the prestigious Vezina Trophy in the 1964-65 season, a testament to their collaborative brilliance and their ability to defy conventional wisdom about age in professional sports. And in 1967, against all odds, expectations, and the relentless march of time, they incredibly led the Toronto Maple Leafs to a Stanley Cup championship, a triumph that cemented their unique place in Maple Leafs lore and etched their names into the annals of hockey history forever. In his final game with the Maple Leafs, a decisive Game 6 against the Montreal Canadiens to clinch the cup, Sawchuk delivered a performance for the ages, a true masterpiece of goaltending under the most intense pressure. He put on an absolute clinic, stopping an astounding 40 of 41 shots in a tense, nail-biting 3-1 victory, proving that even at an advanced stage, his genius remained. It was a final, brilliant flash of the goaltending genius that had defined his entire career. A powerful testament to his clutch performance when it mattered most, securing the cup for his team. He lifted the Stanley Cup for the fourth and final time, a fitting and triumphant climax to his time in Toronto, a moment of unadulterated glory. His journey continued, albeit briefly, with the newly formed Los Angeles Kings. In June 1967, in a clear testament to his legendary status even as his career wound down, he was honored as the very first player selected in the NHL expansion draft. He spent a single season with the Kings, providing a veteran presence and a glimpse of his iconic style to a new market before moving on. He then ended his illustrious career playing sparingly for the New York Rangers. His appearances became fewer, a sign of a body that had endured far too much. But the competitive fire, though perhaps dimmer, still flickered within him. On February 1st, 1970, in a poignant final act of brilliance, he recorded his 103rd and final career shutout, a commanding 6-0 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. This was also his last NHL win, a bittersweet final triumph for one of the game's greatest, a quiet closing chapter to a roaring career. His very last NHL appearance came on April 14th, 1970, in a playoff game, a hushed, almost unnoticed end to a life lived so loudly on the ice. Beyond the rink, the life of Terry Sawchuk was a deeply personal and often agonizing struggle, a stark contrast to the controlled intensity and stoic focus he displayed as an athlete. He married Patricia Ann Bowman Morey on August 6, 1953, and together they embarked on the journey of building a family, eventually having 7 children. However, their marriage was tragically fraught with challenges, a direct consequence of Sawchuk's profound struggles with inner demons. He battled chronic alcoholism, a devastating addiction that fueled instances of infidelity and manifested itself in both physical and verbal abuse within the home. Patricia, enduring years of this tumultuous and painful reality, bravely threatened divorce multiple times before finally taking that agonizing but necessary step in 1969, bringing an end to their deeply troubled marriage. In 1959, Sawchuk became a U.S. citizen, a decision that reflected his life becoming deeply rooted in North American hockey and its culture. But obtaining citizenship could not, by any measure, alleviate the profound internal battles he faced. Throughout his life, Terry also struggled with severe, crippling, and tragically undiagnosed depression. In an era where mental health was poorly understood, heavily stigmatized, and rarely addressed in public or even private conversations, Terry's immense struggles went largely unrecognized and untreated. This heavy, silent burden undoubtedly contributed to his increasingly erratic behavior, his famously sullen moods, his withdrawn nature, and the overall volatility that tragically marked his personal life. It's a profound and heartbreaking irony that a man so capable of controlling the chaos on the ice, orchestrating victory with sheer will, struggled so profoundly and painfully to control the inner chaos within himself. His tragic and untimely death came on May 31st, 1970, at the tender age of 40 in New York City. The official medical cause? A pulmonary embolism, a dangerous blood clot in his lung. This fatal event occurred after a bizarre and ultimately devastating physical altercation with his New York Rangers teammate Ron Stewart on April 29, 1970. The argument reportedly revolved around a mundane, almost trivial issue: the cost of a rented house that they were sharing. During the scuffle, Sawchuk sustained severe internal injuries when he fell awkwardly onto Stewart's bent knee, causing significant trauma. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent 2 agonizing surgeries, one to remove his gallbladder and another to address a severely damaged liver. The press at the time, perhaps either to protect the public image of the players or the pristine facade of the league, largely downplayed the incident, often describing it merely as a scuffle or a prank gone wrong. Sawchuk himself, from his hospital bed, in what was likely an act of loyalty, or an attempt to avoid further controversy for his teammate, told police that he was entirely responsible for the unfortunate incident. However, a Nassau County grand jury later conducted a thorough investigation, delving into the details of the altercation. After reviewing all the evidence, they cleared Stewart of any wrongdoing, definitively ruling Sawchuk's death as accidental. It was a tragic end to a life marked by constant physical and emotional strain. In retrospect, with the benefit of modern medical understanding of brain trauma and its long-term effects, many experts now believe that the numerous brutal head injuries Sawchuk sustained during his career likely played a significant and devastating role in his chronic depression, and undoubtedly contributed to his erratic and volatile behavior in his later years. His symptoms, in hindsight, are chillingly consistent with what is now widely known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain disease found in individuals with a history of repetitive brain trauma, particularly in contact sports. However, in his time, CTE was little understood, if it was recognized or even named at all. Medical science simply hadn't caught up to the brutal realities of repeated impacts. He was laid to rest at Mount Hope Cemetery in Pontiac, Michigan, leaving behind a legacy shadowed by profound questions and immense sadness about the unseen battles he endured, both physically and psychologically, that ultimately claimed his life far too soon. Despite the immense personal struggles and the tragic premature end, Terry Sawchuk's legacy on the ice is anything but tragic. It's a luminous testament to unparalleled greatness, unwavering resilience, and a level of skill in goaltending that few, if any, have ever truly matched. He didn't just play hockey. He redefined the position of goaltender, influencing generations to come. At the time of his passing, Terry Sawchuk held the undisputed title of the NHL's all-time leader in wins, with 447 and shutouts with 103. His shutout record, a powerful testament to his unparalleled ability to completely deny opponents, stood for an astonishing 46 years until it was finally and respectfully surpassed by the modern-day goaltending titan Martin Brodeur in 2009. Even today, Sawchuk remains the all-time leader in both wins and shutouts for goaltenders who played exclusively within the challenging, physically brutal Original Six era, 1942 to 1967. A true colossus of his time when offensive talent was immense and goaltending equipment was minimal, making his achievements even more remarkable. He also holds the unique NHL record for career ties with 172, a quirky but statistically significant record from an era with different overtime rules that reflect his resilience in tight games. Terry Sawchuk's career statistics are staggering, a testament to his longevity and dominance. A grand total of 501 wins, comprising 447 in the regular season and an additional 54 in grueling playoff games, and an astonishing 115 total shutouts, 103 in the regular season and 12 in high-pressure playoff contests. Throughout his monumental career, These aren't just cold, hard numbers. They represent a career meticulously built on raw, undeniable talent, unwavering determination, unparalleled physical sacrifice, and a relentless pursuit of excellence in the face of unimaginable adversity. Terry Sawchuk was more than just a hockey player. He was a phenomenon, a force of nature. He was a man who battled inner demons, both visible and invisible, pushing his body and mind to their absolute breaking point, often beyond what seemed humanly possible, all for the profound love of the game. His story is a poignant, powerful reminder that behind every legendary athlete, every celebrated hero, lies a complex, often vulnerable human being, with triumphs that soar and tragedies that often remain hidden from the harsh glare of the spotlight, obscured by the pressure to perform and the expectations of greatness. His legacy is etched not only in the coveted record books and on the hallowed banners hanging from arena rafters across the league, but deeply, indelibly in the very fabric of hockey history. A powerful and sometimes painful testament to the ultimate, often brutal price of true greatness. What do you think of Terry Sawchuk's incredible, tumultuous journey, his unmatched resilience in the face of such overwhelming pain, or the tragic circumstances that surrounded his life and ultimately led to his untimely death? Let us know your thoughts and insights in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold, compelling stories of sports legends.